Hello guys, I'm here once again to dish out valuable insights and content that you need to help you on your migration journey. But before we start today, do you know that the United Kingdom receives more than 100,000 visitors from sub-Saharan Africa every month? People from the Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Gambia, and many other countries that are south of the Sahara migrate to the UK monthly to either live, work, or stay or study in the UK. Now, this is not a surprising thing. It's a very hot destination for a lot of people. I mean, what's there not to love about the United Kingdom? United Kingdom has opened its gates wide to migration from different parts of the world, and people are thriving on this development. But recently, if you've been watching the news, you would have seen the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, that's the Indian guy, oh yes, the Indian guy, who announced recently 4 new fresh developments that affect migrants to the UK, especially those who are coming in on a carer or on a senior carer visa. Back here in Nigeria, where I stay, I can assure you that every day, now this is not an exaggeration, every day if you go to the international airport here in Lagos or here in Abuja or back in Abuja, you would meet at least 10 people who are leaving for every time slot to the United Kingdom based on this visa. It's really something that has become very pervasive in our country, and you know the reasons why, and I'm not going to go into that. However, these new rules that have been announced by the United Kingdom really hit a deep blow to a lot of people. I saw people who decided that we're not going to migrate again, and they didn't have any reason to waste their time or their resources or their money on it. I'm here today to tell you the good side of this. As you all know, life is a double-edged sword, and on every side of the coin, there's either good or bad. So I've gone and done my research. We've gone and did painstaking research to extract what are the good things, what are the positives from this new development that has been announced by the United Kingdom as a change to their new visa rules, to their migration laws. So this is going to be a 2-part video because I feel that for us to flesh this out well and appropriately, we need to compress this. We cannot compress it into one video. You know how we do it here. We give you value, we give you content, we give you insights that you need to ensure success on your migration journey. So sit back, relax, get a glass of wine or get a glass of water, and please watch this video till the end, as I'm very sure that there's some value hidden at the last minutes of the video that you need to get. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is this. These new measures that have been announced by the United Kingdom are actually sacrosanct, they are cast in stone, and for now, they will definitely be applicable to anyone who is applying to the United Kingdom to get in on a worker visa for a caregiver or a senior carer. The first rule is this, and this is the one that really shocked a lot of people. I saw it on Twitter the other time, saw it on Instagram, and what people do when they post this kind of things on social media is they just take the caption, they take a headline, and they just post it. They don't give you the insight into it. They don't really delve deep into these laws, and you mass panic. So what's the first rule? Care workers can't bring in dependents from next year. So what's next year? 2024. We're in December 2023, which means that in the next couple of days or in the next couple of hours, you might not be able to come in with your family. I know, very shocking, right? But please calm down. So let's get into the spirit and the letter of the law. So what does the law itself say? The law says that for people who are coming in as carers or as senior carers into the United Kingdom to work in the medical profession or in the medical industry, they will not be able to bring in their dependents. Your dependents are your family, your wife, your husband, your kids. But this rule does not apply immediately. This rule is only applicable from spring next year. Now, the first thing you should do, if I were you, if I was smart, would be to go to my phone, go on Google and check when does spring start next year. So give or take, spring will start by April next year. So that's a whole 4 months for you to do everything that you need to do to pack your bags and baggages, get your kids ready, get your husband ready, get your wife ready, and move them to the United Kingdom. So why the rush? Why the mass hysteria and panic? But there's still more good news in this. Now, this rule is only applicable from spring next year, which means that if I get into the UK today and I needed to bring in my family by January, February, March, I'm still free to do all that. And if you wonder and say, oh, well, April is so close, why should I even try it if I'm not sure if I'll be able to bring them in by April? Now, the UK announced rules for students. So people coming in on student visas for their bachelor's degree, for their master's degree, for their doctorate degree are no longer allowed to bring in their dependents on their visa. Yes, you heard me right. So if you're coming in to study in the UK in either the undergrad level or the postgraduate level, you are not allowed to bring in your family. And this rule came into existence January this year, 2023. However, there's a news flash for you. People are still going into the United Kingdom with their family on the student visa. So a law that was implemented from January early this year has still not really been fully in effect by December this year. So what gives you the impression that by April next year, everything that has to do with caregivers and their families and their dependents will stop? I don't think so. However, it's better to err on the side of caution than to just say, well, it would not happen. That's the African way, and that's not a way that you'd want to take to Europe where you're looking for greener pastures. There's one other thing that you also need to know about this first rule. Now, this does not affect those who are already in the United Kingdom. What does that mean? If I've gotten into the United Kingdom, let's say by January, or I'm already there by December, or I'm getting in there by February, it does not affect me. It means that if I'm there in February, I can still bring in my family by March. And if I can still bring in my family in that February also too, all goes. Which means that if you're already in the United Kingdom, this does not affect you. This only affects those who are coming into the UK as at the beginning of April, 1st of April 2024. This does not also apply to those who are entering then, who are entering as at that point in time. So people who are entering at that point in time can still bring in their families. The only time you stop, the only time the law kicks into motion will be from spring 2024. So my rule is this, my advice is this. The advice is, please, if you have any plans to migrate to the UK, if you have any plans to start work as a carer or as a senior carer in the United Kingdom, now is the best time to do it. If you're planning to bring in your family with you, now is the best time to start. Now is the best time to do it. Now is the best time to tidy it up. Because who knows, by next year, the rules might become so stringent that this might not be possible again. Please note that this does not affect people who are medical doctors, who are nurses, who are engineers, who are construction workers, or who are doing any other type of job in the United Kingdom. It only specifically applies to those who are either caregivers or senior carers. So that's the first bright side to that rule. It doesn't affect you if you're there now. It doesn't affect you if you're bringing them in before spring. It doesn't affect you if you do not work in that specific profession. 3 good things from one rule, from one law that has gone viral and that has put a lot of people into early depression. Oh no, I almost forgot something. Now, you know that this rule only applies to those who are married or those who have legal dependents. So if you're what we call in my country single Pringles and looking to mingle, definitely the UK is still open to you. So if you're a young man, a young lady who is planning to move into the United Kingdom, you're not married yet, you don't have a spouse, you're planning to start your family when you get there, by all means, do not allow this rule to affect you. Please move into the UK. In fact, if your plan to move into the United Kingdom is for March, is for April 20th, you can still move in. Even if it's for June 20th, if it's for July next year, you can still move in without having any consideration at all for this rule that says that care workers cannot bring in their dependents from spring next year. I know some people are watching this video and are probably thinking this is the best time to probably say, I'm thanking God that I'm not married yet. But for those of us who are married, for those of us who have dependents, we also know that there are ways where you look back and you probably say, well, I thank God for my position in life. But that's not the point of this video. So what's our second rule? What's the second law that has been implemented in the UK migration laws? How does it affect you? What are the implications of this? What are the indications? And what impact does it have on your migration journey? The second rule is this: skilled worker visa minimum salary change. I'll take that again. Skilled worker visa minimum salary change. There's been a little alteration. Well, not so little. There's been an alteration in the salary threshold for skilled workers in the United Kingdom. Now, before, as a skilled worker in United Kingdom, you're expected to earn about £26,000 before you can bring in your dependents and before you can probably qualify for a lot of benefits that would accrue to someone who is working in the UK, who is allowed to bring in their family also too. Now there's been a 50% increase, almost 50% or 50%. My math isn't really that good, but I think it's about 50% increase in that particular minimum salary threshold. It rose from about £26,000 to about £38,000. Now that's a lot. If you're coming into the UK and you want to work there and you want to bring in your family, you must earn a minimum of £38,000 per annum. Per annum is per year. This is a significantly high salary threshold, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more later on. Now, this does not affect who? This does not affect those on what we call the shortage occupation list. Now, what's a shortage occupation list? As you all know, that the Western world, that's Europe, America, and some other developed countries, have a shortage of skilled workers to do certain jobs, to fill in certain parts of their economy and of their industries. So what each country does is to come up with a shortage occupation list. Now, this shortage occupation list means that these are the professionals that are missing in their country. These are the professionals that they need more of in their country to build their economy, to build infrastructure, to build their support services. For this set of people, the visa rules are a little bit more lenient. The visa rules are bent. However, you should know that because they need you, they will definitely bend over backwards to get you into their country. So the minimum salary threshold does not affect those on this shortage occupation list. And who are those? Those are people like doctors, nurses, construction workers, engineers, and truck drivers. If you notice, these professions that I listed are as varied and as different as night and day. I mean, what's the connection between a truck driver and a doctor? It's a world of difference. However, the same rule applies to these people. They are all on the shortage occupation list. So if you're coming into the United Kingdom as a truck driver, you're coming in as a construction worker, this rule about earning a minimum salary threshold does not affect you, which means that you probably could still come in and bring in your family. Now, people on the shortage occupation list also have reduced visa fees, and also they have reduced visa processing time, because they actually are needed in United Kingdom, which means that companies who are trying to employ people who are truck workers, who are truck drivers, who are construction workers, who are doctors, who are nurses, who are civil engineers, who are mechanical engineers, who are electrical engineers, actually would now be more encouraged to bring in more people from the developing world, from sub-Saharan Africa. Because the visa fees are now reduced, they can sponsor more people to come in. And these people that are bringing in are not subjected to the rule of the minimum salary threshold that has been changed. However, there's a downside to this. The NHIS fees for the United Kingdom has been recently increased. These are the health insurance schemes, which means that these people coming into the United Kingdom will still get to spend so much more on healthcare services. But as the saying goes, if I'm paying for it and I can see the value in what I'm paying for, I would definitely pay for it with a glad heart, with a full smile on my face. So this is what it means. Now, this rule about the minimum salary threshold only affects those who are carers or senior carers. So please, if you're planning to move to the United Kingdom and you do not fall into this category of being a carer or a senior carer, please go ahead and move. The minimum salary threshold has no bearing on your migration plans, has no bearing on what you want to do, has no bearing on you bringing in your family. The funny thing about this is that if you look at the United Kingdom as a country itself, how many people actually earn £38,000 per annum? I would tell you that there's a very small, significant percentage of the whole country as a whole that earns that amount. So which means that this rule, I really don't see this rule lasting beyond next year or beyond 2025. However, do not quote me and do not go to the embassies or to the high commissions and say, oh, I watched a YouTube video where this young man who was dishing out valuable content said that you're going to change the rules. And I'm here to ask, has it been changed? Nah, don't do that. But I'm definitely sure that if that happens, we'll be the first to know. And definitely, because you're subscribed to us, because you're part of our followers, because you are a believer in the value that we dish out, you'll definitely be among the first to know also too. And that's the pact that we have with you. We'll always bring you valuable content, timely content as it is hot and as it is useful for you. In the next video that I'm going to do, I already said at the beginning that this is going to be a two-part video. I do not want to compress so much information into one video, as I understand that watching it, taking it in bite-sized chunks would be much more impactful for you than just watching a long, lengthy video where you are slightly lost. In the next two-part video, we'll be reviewing the next two rules, the next two developments to the migration rules that have come into place and how they affect you. What are the implications for it? What are the indications for it? What is the impact on your migration journey? Please, a quick recap of what we've discussed now today. In the first part, we discussed the fact that care workers can no longer bring in dependents from next year. And this means from spring next year, which is give or take by April next year. This does not affect any other person who is coming to the United Kingdom to work in any other profession separate from being a senior carer or a caregiver. If you're a student, it doesn't affect you also too. And I also said that even though the rule says that it will start from April next year, for the rule that has been in place for students who can no longer bring in their dependents as from January 2023, a lot of people are still bringing their dependents up till now. If you doubt that, please do your research. You will see that people are still coming into the United Kingdom for their doctorate degree, for their master's degree, for their bachelor's degree, bringing in their wives and their kids. So it means that there's a huge possibility that by next year, the rule will not just kick into place from April. There might be an extension before we start seeing it being implemented. And if you're single, hey, nothing affects you, nothing touches you. The second one is about the skilled worker visa minimum salary change. There's a minimum salary threshold that has been increased by 50% from £26,000 now to £38,000. But this does not affect those on the shortage occupation list. And I listed those who are on the shortage occupation list, and I told you why they are exempted from this rule. And I told you that also if you're on this list, you can definitely come in without being expected to earn £38,000 per annum. Stay tuned.